Rosalie here from rosaliesjourney.com, your cosmic midwife. And today I just wanted to talk a little bit about why astrology. Why? Why astrology? For me, it was because it helped me identify what was me and what was not me. But it also helped me learn about parts of me I didn't know. Now, I understand some, and I want to share this because of this is the journey that I was led in this life. I was born into realizing that this isn't something that astrology was the devil, it was Satan, all that. It had such a negative connotation towards it. It wasn't until I freed myself from those restraints on my journey. It wasn't until I started to open up to other possibilities in life because I was so unhappy. It wasn't until I let those parts that were not me, that were others, that were instilled in me, go, the belief systems, and to allow myself to be open and receptive to new understandings of things. It wasn't until my awakening, realizing that half of the stuff that I was learning and was ingrained in me was false, wasn't my truth. There was a series of events that led me to astrology, and perhaps you're being led in a similar fashion, in your own unique way. So why astrology? I first started learning astrology for America anyway, the traditional tropical system. They throw out there that, this sign this, if you're this sign this, but I quickly learned as I started to understand not only the dynamics and the astrology signs, the zodiac signs like, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Virgo, Libra, Capricorn, all of those signs. You're more than just that. You're more than just your sun sign. When I learned about astrology, I learned, all these other planets that we physically see also are compartmentalized within the zodiac wheel. And then I learned about the houses, how houses or pie pieces, when you look at the circle chart, all serve a different purpose or aspect of yourself. And it just started to it took me time. Do not get me wrong. I have been studying, for my journey, since 2018, I have been heavily studying astrology and now have incorporated and integrated it into my daily life. So I know what's going on with me. I know why I'm feeling different things. So it's not just learning astrology for understanding your birth natal chart, but it's also for understanding your birth natal chart, knowing how you are wired, how you're designed in this life. It's a blueprint. It's a blueprint for who you are, where you've come from even. I mean, there's so many, I keep hearing boundless. There's so many aspects to it where you can learn so much about yourself and about others. I started learning about my family, understanding, that's why they do what they do. That's why they act like that. That's why they're amazing at this. That's why they suck at this. But that's also with me. I've built quite the library of charts to really understand people and understand their psychology and the wiring. But also it helped me understand and appreciate the beauty and the uniqueness in all different people, places, and things. Because you can even use an astrology chart based on your business, based on world events. It's limitless. It's a wonderful tool. It's a tool to help us understand ourselves. They've been doing astrology charts for centuries, since Egyptian times, since beyond that. They've been studying the stars and the placements. It all has been included in understanding the human experiences, to understand the phases in life, to understand the significance, because each planet or a luminary has a certain frequency. Just like with numerology, numbers have frequency, vibration, and energy. They all have a different uniqueness to them. The same goes with the planets, have a certain uniqueness or traits to them. Like Saturn, so many people fear Saturn, but I mean, fear is an illusion anyway, false evidence appearing real. Fear is used so much in this matrix system that we live in to control. But Saturn some people like to put that with Saturn, but Saturn also has to do with time and taking time, or in this construct, taking moments to take your time, step by step by step. Saturn's like, you need to do things in order. That's why they call it like grandfather time. You need to do things systematically, or doing things, working towards things to achieve that greatness, or to achieve that prize at the end, or whatever you're trying to manifest. Saturn teaches structure. That's why it's ruler over Capricorn, which Capricorn is ruler over the 10th house, which has to do with how you're perceived in the world, your career, where you're seen. So I mean, there's just so much to it. So when you understand the lingo of it, and if you're interested in me going through all that, comment below. And I'd be glad to break it all down in the way that I do it, in my unique way. Yes, there's many people that do it, but maybe I'll break it down in a way that you get it, because you understand the way I talk and my vibration that I'm giving off. So why astrology? Why not? There's nothing hocus pocus about it. There's no magic behind it. It actually is something I'm actually, okay, I'm getting riled up because I'm sitting waiting for my daughter to come out of her summer work program at her high school. And so since I'm in a school environment right now, even though I'm in the parking lot, this, honestly, astrology, I strongly feel, should be taught in schools from childhood. Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe that's part of the new world, is understanding astrology. Because when you understand that, I can foresee, if everyone just knew this as common knowledge, there would be so many less problems. There would be so much more understanding. There would be so much more organization, so much more flow. This is just one aspect. This is just one thing. There's so many different modalities. Like I said, there's numerology. There's so many different ways. But I am such an advocate for teaching astrology since childhood. And I'm teaching my kids. Although they're not as receptive to this, but as I am. But I mean, I didn't learn this until I was in my 30s. I knew about astrology, but it was like forbidden. I had that construct in my head where it was forbidden. It was the devil, until I let that go. And then I realized there ain't nothing, there's nothing wrong with this. If you're seeing and waking up in this reality, you'll quickly realize that a lot of the things that we should, I don't want to say that, I'm going to rephrase that. A lot of the things that they meaning this society that is trying to have control over us, they don't want you to know about these things through religion. I'm just going through that because that was my journey. Through religion, through these organized religions and organizations, that are like, you need to do this way, and just very Saturn-y, but not in the great way. They really just, a lot of the things that they teach against are actually what are for us, that would serve us. A lot of things are flipped. Things that are wrong are actually right. That's the manipulation tactics behind a lot of things. So I say this as an advocate for astrology and learning it. I eventually learned the tropical system, and then I went further into learning different other types of astrology, like Vedic astrology, like Egyptian astrology, like Mayan astrology, that have gone back. I went to my roots, so that I can understand and have a wider concept of what astrology is, what it really means and signifies, and gaining different viewpoints to then formulate my own viewpoint and process. So why astrology? Why not? It bettered my life. It helped me understand myself. It helped me get rid of a lot of limiting beliefs about myself and people and places and things. It helped me clean up my vibration, actually, because I was better able to identify what was true for me, what were my assets, what were my strengths, what were my weaknesses, where am I setting out to go in this life as a Cancer North Node. In Vedic astrology. In tropical, I'm a Leo North Node, but I find that after identifying and integrating this in my daily life and then learning about the transits, that was the part of I touched on for a moment. That's a great asset when you look at where the planets are currently in aspect to where your natal planets are, and you can see how certain planetary energies affect you in different times. You know, like when Mercury retrograde happens, for instance. Mercury retrograde happens at least three times a year for all of us. So that's Mercury, which has to do with communication, which has to do with how you're thinking. And you're looking at, okay, well, what it's going in retrograde in what house? It's going in retrograde in what zodiac sign? And then you compare that also to, well, where does that fall in your natal chart? So you look at the transits to see where the planets currently are based off of where your natal chart is. And it can open up a wide door and calm your nerves, really. So I'm such an advocate for astrology and learning about astrology. And I hope you take the time to work through your limiting beliefs of what others have placed on you, and to really just come into learning for yourself and finding that inner magic that's already within you, so that you can become the person you literally came here to be. Now, I'm not saying that this is the only way to come into that awareness and enhancement of yourself, but it is a modality that has served so many, which is why so many do and talk and share about astrology. And so this is my 25 cents on why astrology.